the last video about making the changes to the filtration and adding the pump into the pond for the current, you may not have been able to see the pump all that well by virtue of the sunlight, etc. when I took the video. So I'm out here this morning on the 20th of August. It's approximately 8:30 in the morning. The water clarity is amazing, as you can see. You can hopefully clearly see the pump down there now. I'll just turn the camera a little bit more and see the skimmer or the strainer on the front of it. The fish are obviously enjoying themselves out here. They're loving the current. They are loving the water, and they are doing very, very well. They've had their morning feed thanks to the feeder. They're just out here kind of cruising along, just enjoying life in general. And the one thing that I do have to mention right now is a week ago the water temperature here in the pond was 26 degrees. This morning it is 18 degrees. We have had some rather chilly nights. This morning the air temperature here was 9 degrees Celsius. So things are definitely cooling down. We're expecting a bit of a warm up later in the week. But as we get closer to the beginning of fall, I think temperatures are going to continue to drop. And the pond will be getting into that range to shut it down in the next month or so, unfortunately. But overall, as I say, fish are doing well. They're loving the changes to the filtration. I have just done a clean of both easy pods and the upflow filters, and it's being refilled now via my valve over there. You can just kind of see the water coming in. The fish are doing well. I'll give you a little bit better look there. And that's it for the moment. So I'm going to put the camera down now, just put it away, and just one quick look at my buddy out here. This is lucky that you've seen in my other videos, enjoying the cooler temperatures and the sun as well. So thank you again for watching. I will be adding this to an upcoming video just to keep you up to date. Thanks again. By now, if you are an avid koi keeper and have watched videos of some of the koi breeders and koi farms in Japan, as well as some of the dealers in the UK, you will have seen that they use quite often what are called the Japanese floating koi baskets. It's generally a blue rectangular piece of equipment that floats in the pond, allowing you to put your koi in there without having to net it and take it right out of the pond and put it in a bowl. And I have been looking for one of those for a number of years now, and they seem to be a very precious commodity because they're pretty much impossible to find. Never seen any here in Canada at all. Even in the UK, a number of the retailers that have them on their websites show that they are out of stock and do not know when they're going to be coming back into stock. So with that in mind, I decided that I was going to try to make my own, or a version of one, so that I can inspect my koi when either in the outdoor pond where they are now or on the indoor pond. So I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll kind of walk you through the steps, so bear with me for just a moment here. Now, the one thing that you want to do is find an appropriate basket. I'm using a laundry basket to do mine, and if you look at this particular basket here, this is actually the basket I do use for my laundry. You will notice that the holes in the side are reasonably large. I mean, they're not excessive, but reasonably large. And having a basket like this was very concerning to me because I didn't want to have the potential of getting a fin caught in the holes when I'm trying to look at the fish. So I did a bit of research online, checked out a few different retailers, and found this particular one here. So this is the one that I have purchased that I'm going to be using to make my floating basket. You can see the holes are quite small in comparison to this one. I'll try to sort of side by side here. And the likelihood of the fish catching themselves in this is extremely remote compared to this one here. This basket is also slightly larger, and Unlike the white one here, again, if you look at the two of them, the white one dips quite a bit here on the sides. This is almost perfectly flat. So I think this is going to be a much better choice. So what I'm going to do is, let's get that out of the way here. Again, using this one, I'm going to put some foam around the edges here, and then I'll secure it in place, likely with some cable ties. So this is what I'm going to be using. It's actually a pipe insulation, hollow there as you can see. We use that here for insulating pipes in around the house, etc., just to help keep the cold away from them, or keep the warmer temperatures in if it's like for a hot water heat or something similar to that. So I'm going to be securing this around the edges of here, all the way around. And then I'm hoping that that will provide enough flotation to keep the basket floating in the water. The idea again is that the water will come up sort of to the float point, which would be about here, with the rest of the basket in the water, keeping the fish in a safe position and allowing me to examine it. Now this will work for all but my very large koi. She's a bit too big to fit in here comfortably, but it should work for the others. They won't have a lot of room for the larger ones, but they should fit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the camera there for a moment. I will put the foam on, or at least get it started on here, and then I'll resume recording so you can see what it's going to look like. So if you just kind of bear with me here for a moment, I'm just going to pause things, and then I will put this foam in place. Alright, so just to give you a bit of an idea of what I'm doing here, the foam itself has an adhesive layer along both edges here where the tape is. So I'm only removing the tape on the one side at the moment while I'm putting this around the basket, and then I will remove the other side afterwards. I just didn't want it to stick together while I'm working on it. So this is going to come along here like this. So I'll pull this remaining piece off, put it around here. I'm hoping it's going to fit pretty much all the way. If not, I'm not too worried about that. I do have another piece of this foam available, so I'll just cut a small portion to put on there. So this is what it's going to look like. Again, I am going to get some of the cable ties to put on there just to help secure that. Let me just bring this a little closer here, so you can kind of see what it looks like. Again, the idea is that this foam will secure, or will hold the basket at the proper height in the water, and that way I can get the fish in there, so to bring them over to the side of the pond in the net, slide this underneath them. Naturally it's going to fill up with water because of all the holes, and that will keep them safe in the basket, enabling me to look at them without the need to physically remove them from the pond, unless absolutely necessary for treatment or something like that. So I'm going to continue just to get this secured in place. I'll get a little piece in here. As I said, I do have another length of this. I'll fit a piece in there just to kind of finish off the edges, get it secured with the cable ties. And once that is done, I will show you. And then there is one of the koi in the outdoor pond that I do want to take a look at. That's the Kikokuryu, the one that had the issue with her dorsal fin. And I just want to get her in the basket, and I will show you that in just a little bit. So I'm going to pause things again there, get this secured. You don't need to kind of watch me put cable ties on. You've seen those before. And once that is done, as I said, I will let you take a look at this, sort of the finished product, if you will. If the foam that I'm putting on is not sufficient to hold the basket properly in the water, I can add another layer either of the same foam on there, or get what we call here the pool noodles or the pool floats that are much thicker material that will definitely support the basket into the water there. So I'm going to pause things, as I say, here at the moment. I'll get the foam secured on the basket all the way around, fill in that little gap at the end there, and then I will show you once that is done. Alright, I have the foam all the way around the lip of the basket now. And you can can see that I've filled in this corner. It's not perfect, but it's certainly going to do the job. But because this only wraps around slightly with the adhesive that was on the foam itself that I showed you removing that tape, I'm going to be using these cable ties, and we'll be putting them spaced evenly all the way around. But in order to get them in there, because of the way this is constructed, I'm going to have to drill some holes, and then they will sort of go through once the hole's drilled, then wrap around to secure it on there. So I'm going to drill the holes now, and once that is done, I'll get the cable ties on, and I will just show you what will be the hopefully finished product. And as I said, then I will take it outside and see if I can put it to use and take a look at that koi. So just bear with me again, if you will, and I will bring back another little update shortly in the video once I have the secured foam in place. I have now finished securing the foam onto the basket using those cable ties that I showed a few moments ago. So you can see I have them spaced all the way around the perimeter of the basket, holding the foam in place. Just simply drilling a little hole in here, putting them through. And what you may notice as well is these pieces hanging down. It's the little clip on the edge of the cable ties that actually holds it in place once you've inserted it through it, is on the outside here, so that when the fish is inside the basket, there's no way it's going to be able to touch or catch itself on anything in there. You can see it's nice and smooth inside here, smooth edges all the way around, so there's no possible way the fish is going to injure itself by scraping on any of these. And that was definitely my intent, was to do that just to help protect the fish, because I don't want any adverse scratches or injuries or anything like that when it's in the basket. So now that I have done that, I'm going to take this outside to the pond. I will obviously first check to see that it is going to float, and on the assumption that that works, then I will, as I said, catch the Kikokuryu female, take a look at her. You will see when I get her in the basket that the dorsal, the growth that I had trimmed off earlier in the season, is still definitely there. It kind of, the frequency or the intensity of it seems to come and go a little bit, but I just want to get a bit closer look at it, and that would be a good test for the my new floating basket here as well. So I will get things set up outside so I can go and capture her, get her in the basket, and I will let you see that process once that is done. Alright, I'm outside at the pond, and as you can see, the basket is floating. However, it's floating right basically at the upper edge of the basket, and I want to get it a little bit higher, so I'm probably going to put another strip of foam around underneath that one just to raise it slightly, but it does seem to be kind of doing its job at the moment. So I'm going to catch the Kikokuryu, put her in there, and let you take a look. So once I have her in the basket, I will put the camera back on. I now have the Kikokuryu in the basket. It's doing its job. I'm going to bring it closer to the camera so you can get a bit better look at the dorsal. So again, just hang on a moment if you will. Zoom in on a little bit here. Alright, you can clearly see that information on her dorsal. Let me just bring it back around again. So if anybody out there knows what is causing that, certainly let me know. I am going to try one more time later in the season as I'm moving the fish indoors to try and eradicate that with the liquid nitrogen. And see if I can get it gone once and for all, because it's definitely still growing on there. But I say, if anybody has an idea what it is, or any suggested kind of treatments for it, I would certainly appreciate your advice. Any of the koi experts out there who might have dealt with anything similar to this in the past, be very much appreciated. So I'm going to let her go and get her back into the pond with the others. You can see the basket is working very, very well. She's very calm, and I did not have to remove her physically from the pond, which is the whole intent. So as I said, I may put another layer of foam around there. And it seems to be working reasonably well now at this level with her anyway. So I said I'm going to let her go, and I'm going to end things there on the video. So thank you all for watching and for following along. If you have any comments or feedback or know what that growth is, please let me know in the comments below. As always, your support is very much appreciated. And please hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to keep calm and keep koi.